Hi everyone, my name is Iliana. I currently work at HubSpot and I'm a Plymouth alumni. I'm very grateful to Annette and the rest of the Plymouth team for inviting me to be part of your International Careers Week. I'm hoping that my presentation is going to be helpful to you. I definitely plan on giving you some tips from my own personal experience. And really the topic of my talk is around how discovering and following your passion can help you have a global career. Now, I'm going to start with a little introduction of who I am. As I said, I'm currently Global Partner Program Manager at HubSpot. I'll tell you a little bit more about my journey at the company in a second. HubSpot is a marketing, sales, and service software as a service company. We're headquartered in Boston in the US with 7 global offices. I'm also the author of Inbound PR, the PR agency's manual to transforming your business with inbound. It was published by Wiley on 24th of April of this year, which was one of my personal life goals. And in addition to that, a little bit about myself. I speak 4 languages. I've lived in 4 countries, including the UK, obviously, if I'm a Plymouth alumni. I'm 28 at the moment. And as for my hobbies, I love salsa dancing. I actually started dancing salsa at Plymouth, which I'm very proud of. And I've been doing it ever since. It's definitely one of my favorite things. And in addition to that, I'm a workout fanatic. I do Insanity, if anyone has heard of this workout, pretty much every day of the week. You can follow me everywhere online on at Iliana Stariva. I know that's a difficult spelling, it's Bulgarian. So I'm everywhere, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. Please feel free to connect. Now here's what I'm going to talk to you about today. I want to share a little bit about my background so that you can see where I started. Then I'm going to cover lots of things around my career. And I really want to nail down particularly on the tips that I have for you so that you can too have a global career if that's the choice that you want to make. Or at the same time, really the tips apply to any career you want to make or any life journey you want to take. So starting with the background. As I said, my name is Bulgarian. I was born in a very small town called Pazardzhik in the middle of Bulgaria, close to the mountains, about a 3-hour drive from the Black Sea. It's a 70,000 people town, pretty small. I didn't have much choice on what to study. It was either go and do mathematics and IT or focus on foreign languages. I chose the latter. And essentially, I basically focused on English and then German as the main languages. I got a diploma in German, which allowed me to go study in Germany. And that's essentially the choice that I made. So this is where I went to high school. I was 14 when I had to make that choice, which path to go to, either mathematics, IT, or languages. And this was my high school. I spent 5 years there really nailing down on German. During my first year, I had maybe 20, 30 hours a week German. This one here is a little bit hidden now because of the photo, but I graduated top of the class at the end. And again, as I said, that gave me the opportunity to then go abroad and study in Germany. So that was also a very deliberate choice that I made when I was 14. So when I decided that I was going to study languages, it was specifically because of the opportunity to actually go abroad. And so for 5 years, I followed this stream. I researched what are my options, where should it go, what can I do, what can I afford. And so at the age of 19, luckily, I packed my bags and I moved to a 60,000 people town called Dortmund in Germany. I didn't know anybody. I didn't have a place to live. I only had a spot at university. I had picked international business. And so I pretty much had to figure it out all on my own. And that's probably one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. It really taught me at a very young age how to be autonomous and pretty much deal alone with any problem that comes across you. And to be fair, I really wanted to study in the UK, but I couldn't afford it. So I was researching really what were my best options. And the only way I could really do it was to choose a double degree, which is what I did. And that was double degree in international business. This didn't mean that I had the spot to go in the UK during my 3rd year, but it was certainly a chance or an option that I was very deliberately pursuing. So from an early age, I had this goal that I was going to go to the UK. And I managed to do that. I applied, I got the spot, I got the Erasmus funding as well to help me. And in year 3, I did come to Plymouth. And it was probably one of the best years of my life. As I said, I discovered salsa and dancing there. But then it was very different to my German education, helped me learn a lot. I made tremendous connections as well. As you can see, I'm still in touch with Plymouth University, even though I graduated in 2012. And I think when it comes to careers, it's really important for you to figure out what your passions are. And I would say I managed to do that very early on. As you know, I picked international business for the reason being that I didn't know which area to go to. And so international business allowed me to dig into accounting and finance and marketing and pretty much everything possible. And I did discover during year one that it was marketing and especially the area of public relations that I enjoyed the most. And that's where I decided to put my focus on, specifically knowing that, in international business, I'm not going to focus on PR. I'm not going to focus on writing. I'm not going to focus on the skills that I need to succeed in PR. So I had to figure out how to develop those in other ways. And as I said, I did have the plan to come to the UK. I managed to do that, and it was very, very deliberate. It goes back to setting goals early on and pretty much making a plan on how to follow them. I always advise setting at least one major goal per year and then making a plan and working backwards and making a plan with the necessary steps to hit those goals. Now, my career. I decided very early on that I wanted to pursue a career in PR because I discovered this was my passion. But again, I wouldn't necessarily have been able to gather the necessary experience simply during my international business studies. So I had to figure out how to do it. And I decided to dream big. I decided to think that everything is possible and I can make it happen. Even though I may not have the PR background or the PR education, I just had to put the effort in and probably go a little bit above and beyond, and I was prepared to do that. So I set myself goals. Those even included writing a book, which I'll talk to you a little bit later on, but that was certainly one of my goals. I decided I wanted to have a big career as a young woman, and I wanted to do that early on. And then I also decided that I want to publish a book as part of that career development. So to manage to get into PR, I set myself a plan. And early on, I decided that, okay, for PR, there are two key things, right, at the time. Writing and then also building relationships. And so I started blogging specifically for that reason. And I did that very early on, right? Like I was still in Germany and I started blogging and pretty much sharing my experiences as my learnings as I was going through everything in university. I decided that for me to be successful with this, I should have some working experience. So I agreed to a 3-month unpaid summer internship in a marketing agency in Germany, specifically around social media. Social media was just starting to pick up back in the day. So I figured out that this would be a great advantage for me because it was still a skill that was lacking in PR. Shortly after that, when I was in the UK in year 3, I even managed to get a writing contract for an ongoing blog post to be shared on the blog of a marketing agency. And that very much came through the blogging that I was already doing on my own blog. Now, at the end of my first year in the UK, I applied for a summer internship at Blue Zone 360, which is an agency over in Plymouth. And their internship was in collaboration with Plymouth University. It was a 6-month internship and it did focus on different skills like design. But I decided I was going to be proactive and offer something new that they didn't have. And it took me on. I had a great learning experience there. It was a paid internship. Definitely managed to set me up for success and allowed me to experiment as well. Now, right after that, I got another 6-month PR internship at a PR agency in Cheltenham. So I moved over there for 6 months. But this also helped me a lot to nail down into the PR skills that are needed, specifically around working with journalists. It was a tremendous experience to nail down that skill. And as soon as I returned back into Germany for my final 6 months of university, I had to support myself, obviously. So I put a lot of effort while I was still in the UK at creating my CV and applying at different PR agencies in Dortmund or the surrounding areas. And I arrived early February in Germany. I hadn't started back university. A couple of days after that, I had my first interview in one of the PR agencies, and they offered me a part-time 2-day job. So I jumped on that right away. And 4 months into it, they made me an offer to stay on after I graduated for a full-time job as a social media account manager. And I decided to do that. Now, as you can see, I said early on that I set goals. I said I was going to work in PR when I graduated. I don't have the skills, but I put everything possible into it to develop them. And what did I do? I managed to get 18 months of career relevant work experience before I had even graduated. This definitely set me up for success. And as you can see, the job offer itself came on its own. I didn't have to go after it. This was my first proper job, as I said, social media account manager at this agency, which is part of Ketchum, one of the largest PR agencies in the world. Great experience for a year and a half. I very much focused on blogger relations and then managing social accounts such as Facebook, for example, for some of the largest FMCG companies in the world. It was a global experience back then because we had to collaborate with the other offices from around the world for global companies, for some very big brands. Terrific experience. And then, all unexpectedly, in the summer of 2015, I received a LinkedIn message from one of the recruiters at HubSpot from their Dublin office. It was a bit of a surprise. Apparently, they found my blog and then they dug into my LinkedIn profile and liked what they saw. And they were looking for someone with agency experience and then fluent German. And I seemed to be an obvious choice. I was very hesitant because Ireland was never somewhere I wanted to live, right, and go. But then as I went through the interview process, I met fantastic people that I managed to learn so much from just from a 30-minute conversation with them. And I desperately wanted to join HubSpot. So I did pack my bags again. Country number 4, moved over here in, actually that's a mistake. That should be summer of 2014, not 2015. So I moved here in end of November, actually, yeah, exactly 4 years ago, over here to Dublin. I joined as the channel consultant, which meant I had to work with our agency partners for them how to use the software, resell it, and then use it for their clients. I pretty much followed the career ladder, very much in the same department. I was promoted to senior, shortly after that to principal channel consultant, and then a year after that, I was promoted into this job, given my previous experience with our agency partners, and then also my broad experience into running big projects and global programs that I had created myself as a principal channel consultant, which really got me the promotion. So right now what I do is I run very big global initiatives from across all of our offices. I work with a minimum of 20 people for an initiative or a project. And all those people don't really report to me. They report to someone else, which makes it very challenging, but at the same time, super interesting to see the success of a project you set up in a team that you have made come together. And I definitely can say that I'm working for the dream company right now, and I'm very happy about it. And as I said, one of the goals that I set up at a very young age, I think I was 2021, was to write a book, actually multiple books. I was very inspired by Brian Solis, David Norman Scott, very big names when it comes to PR and digital and marketing back in the day. I started following them, reading the books. I really liked their books. And they were a major inspiration, as I said, to me, deciding that I wanted to write a book one day myself. And as you can see too, there are actually multiple books here. I've written 2 dissertations, one at Plymouth, one in Dortmund, and all of them have been published as books. But that wasn't enough. I wanted the real deal. I wanted to work with a publisher. And through my blogging, again, I found an idea for a book that could solve for something that was missing in the market. It was a new idea. This concept didn't exist, that I ended up calling inbound PR, which basically combined my previous PR knowledge with the new knowledge I was gathering at HubSpot with inbound marketing. And so I found a way to combine these 2 disciplines and help the PR industry in general. I pitched this to Wiley. Wiley is probably the biggest academic and business publisher in the world. And I got the contract when I was 27. Less than a year after that, the book is now available in the bookstores, on Amazon, pretty much everywhere online, as a Kindle, as a hard copy, or as an audio format. And that's certainly one of the proudest achievements of my life. And it was definitely worth the effort doing outside of my normal work hours. All right, enough about myself. Now, what can you learn from all of this? What are the tips that I have for you? So there are two key ingredients I feel you need for a successful career. Number one, you need to discover your passion fit. And when I say passion fit, I mean, what is it that you really like? What do you excel at? Where are you really good? And once you know that, you need to think about, well, what about the market? What are some things that are missing in the market? What type of problems can I solve? And so once you sort of find the fit between these two, then you have an area where you can build up an expertise that others will be lacking or others will be needing a lot just because it's not enough. So if you think about things like artificial intelligence right now, if you're passionate about technology, that's certainly an area you can explore. Why? Because lots of people haven't yet figured out, what do we do with AI? Now, in my case, it was social media and communications and PR. People hadn't figured it out. So, but I was passionate about it, so I really dug into it, and that set me up for success early in my career. Now, piece of advice, you're not going to have all the answers at the beginning, you're not going to know everything, and that's totally okay. That's part of your learning and career journey. I always advise to try and experiment because otherwise you would not know. I didn't know where I wanted to go, so I decided to try with international business and try everything possible that was there. And I discovered what I really liked. So that's part of the learning, and then that's part of the life journey. You should just accept it and seek more, experience more. Now, the other thing is, as I said more earlier, consciously set one big goal every year and make a detailed plan on how to hit it. Set yourself mini targets, make sure that you hit them, and then at the end of the year, reflect on what did you do well, what didn't go so well, learn from that, and set yet another goal for the next year. My goal when I said that I published the book was really to sign that deal in 2017 with the publisher. I achieved that goal. I said earlier too that you should get real life work experience while you're studying. I had 18 months of that experience, and that then allowed me to jump into work life very early on and to achieve successes in my career early on. So there's nothing more rewarding than putting what you learn at university into practice. And to be fair, work experience is very, very valuable because you learn a new thing every day because you interact with a lot of people through your job. Another advice is to build your brand and start working on your reputation before you even graduate and put active effort into it. What do I mean by that? This specifically goes around my blog, for example. You can do YouTube channels, you can do podcasts, you can do other things, right? There are a bunch of options, but I put a lot of effort into my blog on purpose. I still continue to publish a blog post every week after 8 or 9 years of blogging. And you heard me saying before that the blog really got me pretty much every job that I've had so far, and even came into a book. I'm now known as the person who invented inbound PR, and people come to me and they seek me out for speaking engagements around the world, which is extremely rewarding as well. But to succeed in any of this, you need to create routines. I think habits are definitely the key to success. I managed to write the 40,000 words of my book in 3 months. How did I do that? By setting a routine. It was really difficult in the beginning to get into it, I promise you. But then after I reflected on why didn't I succeed at this, I discovered that I had this fear in my mind that I had to write this big piece of work instead of just focusing on the process. And then I decided that I was going to spend an hour a day, 5 days a week writing. When? The best time for me was between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. just because that's when I'm most productive. I know that myself. And that's how I managed to write the book in less than 3 months, actually, by really sticking to that routine, that habit that I found myself that it works. And to my point earlier, you make or break your day between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m. There's no better time of the day to set you up for success, not just for the day, not just for the week, not just for the month, but for the year ahead. I work out in the mornings as well. I'm an early riser. I'm most productive then. But it really is the time of day that your mind is so fresh and you've clear ideas and you're a lot more efficient and faster at doing the work than you're later on in the day when you start to get bogged down by various different things that reach you throughout the day. And you have self-doubt, right? I lose confidence sometimes as well. It's absolutely normal. We are humans. But beware of that, right? Like you have moments when you're down, but that's okay. Accept them and then keep pushing. You've set your goals already. So go after them. Don't lose your confidence. Things will always get better. If you have moments that you're down, that's totally normal. Life is not linear. So it's okay. Keep pushing. You can do it. And practice, practice, practice. That's one of the key reasons why someone becomes an expert. It's not because you're a genius from the start. You might be the most intelligent person, but any expertise area needs practice so that you become the master of it. Likewise with writing, I kept writing every day, every day, every day, every day. I've been writing for 9 years until I managed to get to a book. It is practice that makes success. And finally, remain focused and persistent. So hitting goals, that goes back to keeping pushing. But once you have that goal in mind, then it's not just aspirational because you've already set a plan. It's also something that seems very possible because you've broken it down into little tactics you can hit and just tick the box on. And that way you can look back and be like, oh my God, I've actually done a lot. The end goal is just here, just around the corner. So keep persistent. All right, key takeaways. Try different things to find out what you like and where your passions are and where you're really good at. Make sure you develop and then practice those skills so that you can become an expert at them. Companies seek out experts, and so do consumers as well. And then keep practicing so that you become that expert, you become recognizable at it. Be focused with regards to your education, but then also your career. Don't try to do everything. You can't be excellent at everything. You need to choose your specialty, master it, and then you can add up and move to another thing. But you can't do 2-3 things at the same time if you want to be recognized as an expert. You need to focus. Thank you. As I said, please do find me online, connect. These are my contact details. You can reach out to me at any point. I do hope this was valuable to you. I wish you all the success. You've chosen a wonderful university to study at. So take care and talk to you soon. Bye.